Hello lads and lads, this is Sanythe here, and I want to walk you through an easy to follow guide on how to get every single sword in Citadelle. This includes light, dark, fire, and lightning. Now starting off, you're going to need to get the base variant to these swords, and even as base variants, they are still tied to certain elements, unlike the bows from Dryzendrah, so you can't just grab a random one. In order to get these base variants, you're going to need to reach around 10, and then these Crusader zombies will spawn in, and when you kill one, it'll drop a stamp. Now you can use these stamps on the statues in the room with Vulture in order to get a sword. Each statue is associated with an animal and an element, which I'll go over now. The statues all have an animal on their chest. The one directly under this red crystal is the lion sword, which is the light element. To the side of that is the dragon, which is fire. Across from the lion is the raven, which is the dark element. And to the side of that is the stag, which is the lightning element. Now that that's explained, let's get into the actual upgrades. Starting with the lion or light sword, once you grab it, you'll have these glowing parasites spawn in, and what you're going to want to do is head over towards Speed Cola, and not too far along the path, you'll find a door with a lion head on it. Kill a single glowing parasite with a sword, then hit the door with your sword while it glows. Repeat this until you have lit up 4 symbols on the door. If you run out of parasites or kill too many, once you flip the round, more will spawn in. And once you've filled all 4 symbols with light, interact with the door, and you'll be transported into a room with a podium for you to place your sword. Now interact with the podium to place your sword, and you'll see a symbol light up on the podium. A timer will now begin, and you'll have about a minute to complete this next bit. Now symbols will fly from the podium onto the walls, and they'll stop moving for a second before they start moving again. You have to shoot the floating symbol that matches the glowing one on the podium, and you have to do this 4 times. Now it's not very hard, but it can be a little finicky and tedious. If you fail this, just flip to the next round and you can retry it. After you shoot all the symbols, the sword will glow, and then you can pick up the upgraded light sword. Next up is the fire sword, which is honestly the easiest. Once you grab the sword, head toward the castle entrance where Juggernog is, and up the stairs there's a dragon and a pedestal. I recommend having Juggernog and stamina up since it'll be much easier this way. Insert the sword into the pedestal, and 3 braziers will be lit up around the map. The closest one is across from Melee Macchiato on the castle wall to the left of the cannon. Interact with the brazier, and you'll have to sprint back to the pedestal and deposit the fire. It'll tell you on screen what button to press to release the fire in case you're about to die and would rather just retry it. On Xbox, it's the Y button. Now, you move much faster like this, however, you also take tick damage during it, and you don't heal because of that. However, there will be purple-eyed zombies that are spawning during this, and any of them that you kill will refill your HP. I like using PhD Slider for this, because you can just slide into them and replenish your health, so that's a really good option for this. You're also unable to use stims or stuff like that while you're holding the flame. Now, the last 2 braziers are near spawn. One is directly in the spawn back right corner, and the other is directly to the left of spawn outside the buyable door. Once you return all 3 flames to the pedestal, an animation will play, and you can now grab the upgraded fire sword. For lightning, or stag, after you obtain the base variant, an armored zombie will spawn with a lightning rod attached to them. Usually it'll spawn very quickly after, but sometimes it takes a while. Like for me in this match, since he didn't spawn for a bit, I started working on the dark sword, and it spawned during that bit. Now there are 3 total, 2 of which can be found on the map and picked up even before you reach the castle or grab any of the swords. One is directly next to Deadshot Daiquiri near this crate. It's the left route from spawn. The other you'll need Deadwire on a weapon for, and near Speed Cola and the lion door I mentioned before, you'll see a power box you can shoot with your Deadwire gun. Next from here, a lightning rod will drop from the pole on the rooftop and you can grab it. After you collect all 3, take them to the castle wall, across from elemental pop, and insert them into this urn. Next, interact with it, and a storm will appear around you, and you'll have to kill zombies with your sword, and after a bit, your sword will become electrified. When this happens, swing at the urn with your sword to deposit the electricity, and after doing this about 3 times, you can insert your sword, and after animation, you can get the upgraded lightning sword. Lastly, the most intimidating, but honestly, it's really not that bad to upgrade, is the Raven or the Dark Sword. Now, once you obtain the base variant, head to the alchemy room directly behind the statue you got the sword from, and on one of the shelves or tables, you'll find an antiquity. Now, the antiquity you get is random, however, each is tied to an astrological sign, such as Virgo for the fossilized scorpion, or Leo for the lion jaw. And if you look at the item before picking it up, I believe it does say which one it's tied to on the little base stand for it. But most of them can kind of be deciphered based on the animal in the antiquity. I believe there's a fossilized fish for Pisces, a fossilized scorpion for Scorpio, lower jaw of the lion for Leo, and a horn for Aries. There's definitely more, but those are the only ones I've seen so far. Now, once you have that, bring it to the tavern and spawn, and in the cellar, there's this little dial on the wall. Interact with it, and you'll place the antiquity on it. After that, you can place your sword in it, and if you interact with it, you can move around the arrows, And you'll want to match whatever zodiac sign matches your item in the spot here at the bottom. And next, the inner circle needs to be moved around to match up with the zodiac sign. Each triangle in the inner ring represents an element, and here's a chart showing which element matches each zodiac sign. Also, keep in mind that only the 2 slots in the bottom matter, so these 2 directly above the sword, so you only have to focus on those. You can also pretty easily brute force this since the attempts are decently generous, so if you just find the right zodiac, you can try all 4 triangle alignment combinations. And once you have the right combination, an orb should fly out of it and create a hole in the ground nearby. All you have to do is train around the hole and lead the floating orbs into the hole, since they'll be tracking towards you and they'll damage you. Now, do this enough and the hole will disappear and move to a new spot. This will happen about 3 or so times before eventually the orb traverses back to the dial in the cellar, and after it returns to the dial, interact with it again, an animation will play, and now you have the best sword in the game. I don't actually know if it's the best, but it sure as hell feels like it. Now here's a showcase of what each ability does. You activate it by hitting both alt and primary fire buttons simultaneously, and you recharge it by just getting killed with the melee on the sword. Additionally, when the sword is fully charged, it'll do elemental damage with its default swing, and even with the base sword, you can parry attacks. So for example, range attacks like from this parasite here, you can parry it and hit the parasite back. It's really cool, honestly. You can also parry the amalgamation grabs, which is a really cool feature. Now into the actual abilities. Light will create a sort of light ring around you, similar to the chakrams from BO4. It lasts only a couple seconds, but it's still really nice for saving yourself. Fire will shoot a massive explosion, which can cause splash damage to yourself, so you're going to want PhD, but it has insane horde clearing potential. Now lightning will shoot a beam forward, which kind of shocks and kills all the zombies it touches. I feel like this one's the weakest, but maybe I just haven't found out how to use it properly. And lastly, the Dark Sword creates a black hole that lasts a little under like 3 to 4 seconds, and it works exactly like the Casimir, and you can jump through it as well to teleport to a different spot. But yeah, that's all for now. I'll have a thorough Easter egg guide up later today, and I might be streaming the Easter egg later with my friends today as well. Otherwise, it might just be a video. We'll see. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I can try to help you in any way I can. I try to respond as fast as I can, but sometimes I just don't see the notification. So sorry about that. But yeah, that's all. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye. It's your fault.
I heard a noise. Did you hear it?
Alright, hold on. Oh! You can deflect it!
Deflecting his...
You can deflect it!
You can deflect projectiles with the sword?